moment I'm working very hard on Park Drives. So if I'm going to edit a video, it's usually a Park Drive. Now what I use as a tip for when I'm editing a Park Drive episode is what I did on episode 1 is I recorded an opening theme, like an intro to the show. I recorded an outro to the show, and I also recorded some little clips for the cutscene. So what I do each episode is I go onto that same edited clip and I delete all the videos apart from the opening themes, the intros and the cutscenes. So technically you still get all the intros and all of that stuff, and then you just basically delete the scenes in the episode and add the new ones in, because all the scenes are roughly about the same. So there's usually like 4 scenes, then we cut for an advert, then there's usually then there's usually like another 4 scenes, and then the end of the show, plus then I just delete the adverts and put some new adverts in. But I'm going to show you how to edit an NTV video as if I was making one brand new, as if I was doing a brand new one. So what I'd do is I'd go to new project. Now obviously it's going to load, and what I do is when I go to new project is I select a theme. Now selecting a theme for me doesn't really matter too much. Now the theme on the Share Factory in an NTV video isn't highly that important for me. I mean, if you are making like any form of normal normal YouTube video, you can use the themes and they come with like, their own like intros and outros. But in my opinion, they're a little bit stupid because half of them say Share Factory on them, if not all of them. Like Share Factory Retro or Street Fighter or Little Big Planet. So, sometimes they have like, pretty good sort of like clips like this, for example. If I just click on this, like this looks pretty nice, but then you've kind of got the word Share Factory there, which ruins it. Or the same here rather. Like that'd look really cool, but then it says Share Factory at the end, so it kind of spoils it because you get the Share Factory writing, and that's the same with everyone else, with everything else. So what I usually do is I usually scroll down to the Share Factory theme. Now if I'm doing an NTV sport video, I go to the sport section, because you kind of get the football, and you kind of get the like the goal kicking in and that type of thing, like that look. And then obviously that doesn't say Share Factory or anything like that, and then obviously you can do stuff like that with it. If I'm doing something such as like NTV Turbo, then I usually just use this one. This one actually says Share Factory though, but I usually use that one. Or sometimes I usually sometimes put writing over it like that, instead of Share Factory. But if I'm doing a normal NTV video, which is just like your general Park Drive or your general sort of like news at 10 PM, then I'd just click this one. I'd delete all the intros and outros because I wouldn't necessarily be using them. And what I would go ahead and do is I would go ahead and get the opening themes. So I know what the opening themes look like because I obviously made them myself. Like I know exactly what they look like, so I know like what to do in that sense, and I know exactly where they are as well. Like that there, that's episode 1. I believe, and then this is like all the recordings for episode 1. So right at the end of episode 1, because when we first done the episode, this is where I put the intro in, like that. So I'd get like all the intro clips, same with that one, and then same with that one. So I would then click square and I'd then click continue. So then what I would then do next is I would go ahead and I would put something like an advert in to start off at the beginning of the show. So let's just use something like this, like that, and then I'd have an advert in just to start off, like the other show's finished, the adverts come on, and then you know you come to the beginning of this show on the TV channel. So I'd do an advert, and then what I'd do is I'd go ahead and add myself a screenshot. Now screenshots are quite cool in this case for reasons what I would maybe need. For example, I can use like this and it has the clouds moving in the background, or I can just get like a blue one which I've used before. You can also do something like that, you can do something like that, or you could just do something, you know, such as like that. So I'm going to go with this one for first, and then what I would do is I'd go ahead and click X, go to add overlay, and I'd get myself some text. I'd usually get this one because this is the font for the NTV. On a case like this, I'd get the biggest one, change the capitals, and I'd literally write NTV. I would then change the colour to yellow, and then I would just place it somewhere in the middle like that. So you watch the clip and you've got the word NTV. Then what I'd do is I'd go ahead and add some you know, like commentary, just a little bit, and I'd just simply do something like this, as you'll hear in just a sec. Well, next day on NTV we go back to the Park Drive. You know, I'd go for something a little simple like that, and then, well, next day on NTV we go back to the Park Drive, and then you would come ahead into the intro and the outro, you know, like, well, just the intro actually, as a matter of fact. So then what you would actually do is you would work out the music you want. Now if you're a bit more like, if you have a USB, you can actually get USB imported music. So if you want to get some of that music from non-copyrighted sounds on YouTube, you can just go on the PC and install it to a USB, install it from YouTube using YouTube Converter. Just simply by copying the link and then pasting it in a YouTube Converter and installing the song. You could put it onto a USB and you could use that song. If you're a little bit like me who doesn't have a USB stick, you can use some of these songs, which some of them are alright, some of them don't always fit my theme of what I want. Some of them are a bit too rocky, kind of like rock and roll, and then, you know, some of them kind of work alright. So if it's something like Park Drive, we use this. So I'd get the song, and as you can see, the song is really long. The song's probably like even longer than like the first half of the episode, when you like think about it. So what you want to do is you actually want to trim this. You want to make it so it stops here. So right here you want the music to stop, because that's the end of the show, and obviously when you start watching the show you're going to want to hear the people talking. So sometimes you might get it a little wrong, sometimes you might just need to trim it a tidgy bit more, and sometimes you know you can get it pretty close, but sometimes it's hard to get it close. Sometimes you can just end up going over a bit, sometimes you can just go a little bit underneath, just like that. You know, sometimes you just can't necessarily get it too on your PS4 controller. You can actually just tidgy move it a teeny bit, and then what you'll see is there we've gone a little bit too far, so you just want to knock a tidge off again, and then you just want to add something such as 1, 2, 3, maybe like that, and as you can see, the song just kind of just stops like that. Well, that kind of sounds a little bit off-putting. Like the song just kind of like, it kind of goes like D D D D D. You kind of want it to go more like D D D D D. You kind of want it to fade out. Well, luckily on Share Factory you can actually make your videos, your songs fade out. So what you want to do is you want to just go to fade out, and you don't want to do it much. You just want to do it, you know, maybe to about you know, maybe like, you know, 1.0s kind of thing. And if you watch it like that, you see how it faded out. And also sometimes you might just want to fade it in a tidge bit. Now sometimes you don't want to do it too much for fading in, especially on an NTV video, because sometimes like your themes aren't really that long as such, so sometimes if you can spend most of the time just hearing it fade in and then instantly fade out. So whereas my, like for this is a bit longer, like it isn't like too short, so you can fade it in a bit like that. And then you can see how it goes like this. You can see them all jump. So you might think, that looks like a pretty completed Park Drive theme, or intro theme, but that's actually not there. There's actually 2 more things missing into the theme of the song. So we've got the advert at the beginning, we've got the announcement saying what's coming up on the TV now. I should say now instead of next, but I've got used to saying next. But there's just another couple of things missing. Now this is a thing which can really drown out your NTV videos, especially like me, because I make a lot of like NTV videos, obviously what look like you're watching a TV program. So if you watch a real TV program, you'll always notice that in the top right corner, or sometimes the top left corner, there's always a little thing telling you what the TV channel is called. So if you're watching ITV, if you're watching BBC, or if you're watching like a movie channel, there will always be the name of the channel in either the top left or top right corner. So what I do for this is I just basically add some text, just this small one here, write NTV again, and I change it to yellow, and then I just literally put it there. So I'm not going to do it for every clip because you get the point, but literally that's what you would do. And then start writing NTV here, for example. If you like write it here as an example, then if you watch the clip, see how it's not there, and then it appears like halfway through. So if you like delete it, whereas if you, for example, if you put it right there as much as you can, as soon as your little like orange line goes onto that clip, you want to be typing it just like this. So you kind of get it like that. See? And then you see how you watch it on that clip, and it doesn't look as if there's been any change. It looks as if the sign's never moved, but the actual clip itself has changed. See, like that, and you don't, it kind of just like cuts the video to another video, but the NTV logo's still exactly the same. So you've got that, but there's actually one more thing we need to do, and that's write the name of the show. So naming the show on your intros and cut into advert breaks and stuff like that can be very, very important. You want to make sure that you get this right. So you want to pick some nice font. So let's just go for something like this. It's not what I use for Park Drive itself, but let's just Park Drive, something like orange will do, and we'll write it there. And then you might just want to make it move a bit more again, that type of thing. And then you just write drama or whatever show you want to do. If you're even doing a show, you might just be interested to see how I make these, and maybe not have a plan to make any of them at all. It might not interest you to make them, you might just want to watch me, but then you've got that. So you would have this show looking a little something like this. So we'll cut the advert, you don't need to watch that, but it needs to be there. Next year on NTV we go back to the Park Drive. So there we go, so it's telling you next we go back to the Park Drive, and then obviously you've got your opening theme. Now I have actually made the opening theme a lot longer in Park Drive, but I'm just showing you the basic short one. Just like that, look. So you've got the music, then obviously it appears. So next part, I think I'm going to do a part 2 to this. If you guys enjoyed the part 1, So next part, we'll go into the next part of an NTV channel. So next part can be quite easy, or it can be quite complicated, depending on how I give you a lot more work. Like, you can make NTV videos so much more interesting. So join me on the second part, where we will get into the NTV show. And if you did enjoy it, hit the like button, please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.